Our concern today is to graph our data. So aside from presenting data using tabular form, you can also present it using chart. But we need to consider the appropriate chart for the data. So if the data is nominal or ordinal, the appropriate chart for that is pie, bar, and line. While if the data now is interval or ratio, the appropriate is frequency histogram or polygon. But if your data now involves a very few numbers, then it means that you can also present it using pie chart. So let us consider our data set. So this is our data set. So let us just classify the nature of the data. So we have here age, sex, socioeconomic status, item 1 to 5, and the sum. So our major variables here are age, sex, socioeconomic status, and the sum of the life satisfaction scale. So age is ratio, sex is nominal, socioeconomic status is ordinal, and sum is ratio. Okay, so let us now consider the appropriate chart for our data. So make sure that you have the data analysis, because if you still remember in our previous data or our previous video, we constructed histogram. So that is also the same procedure, because histogram is of course one chart that is discussed in this video. However, in our previous video, we just considered the frequency distribution. So now we're going to just to recall the steps and then use now the frequency count and percent distribution for us to come up for the appropriate chart for our data. So we have to consider, for example, for age, we have 18, 19, 20, and all other values here until 40. So we decided that the bin is 20, 25, 35, 40, which represents that 20 and means 20 and below, because 20, 25, 35, and 40 are upper limits. 25 is from 21 to 25. Then next is 26 to 35. Next, 36 to 40. So if you still recall the procedure, what we did is just to click the data analysis after encoding, of course, the upper limits, and then choose histogram and click OK. So our input range is the age. So all we need to do is to select age. And our bin now, let's go back to the encoded upper limits. So that's the 20 to 20, 25, 35 to 40. And then click chart and click OK. Okay, so this is our histogram. However, if we are constructing histogram, there should no be gaps in between our bars. So we will edit that. So just double click your chart and then remove the gap. So no gap. So it is your option now if you want to edit your tables. You have here different colors that you might want to consider. So this is an example of histogram. So our data is age. So the appropriate chart is histogram. And you can also construct line. So this is the line chart. So this is the histogram. This is the histogram. And this is the frequency polygon. So let's just copy this in a separate table, or rather in a separate document. So just to be okay, let's consider this. So this is the histogram. And let's go back. We can change this into line. And this is now the frequency polygon. Now, if we will also consider, for instance, other variables, let's go back to our table. So, for example, for sex, so we need to encode 1 and 2 because we use 1 and 2 for sex. 1, 2. So, let's just do the same procedure. We have to click data analysis, histogram, click OK, and let's change this to this data set or this profile variable, and the range now for bin range will be 1, 2, click chart output, click OK. So there's no need to remove the gap here because one characteristic of a bar chart is that you can actually interchange the value of 1 and 2 here. Unlike for histogram, we cannot do that because this is a range from lowest to highest. So we will change 1 to male because 1 represents male and this is also female. So this is not histogram, this is the bar chart. And you also have the option here to change the colors of your bars. So let's say this one. This is the bar chart. So you can also replace bin to 6. So similar to, so let us just edit this. So similar to our frequency polygon, we can also just click this and click line. So this is now our line chart. While for pie chart, you can just simply select this. Oops, let's go back. Click pie and our pie chart, this one. And you can click right click to add the labels. You can also do this procedure for all other chart. Click. So we can make this larger. Oops. Or we can also actually change our chart. So let's make this larger. Home. And replace this to a larger number. Like for example, 28. So the same with this data. Home. And let's replace it to 28. So this is now the pie chart. So you can also do this procedure to other profile variables like the socioeconomic status. While for the sum, of course, you need to construct the histogram and frequency polygon. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you for listening.